I'm Sita pati, and here we are doing a review of one of these brand new Tilaka Mrdangas from the Philippines, which has just arrived the other day. Krishna Card brought one in. Jai Gopal from the Philippines sent it over in a very timely fashion, got here within a week. Admittedly, Australia is not too far from the Philippines, but great customer service experience there. Jai Gopal tracked it the whole way, was on top of the whole thing, knew where it was. So here it is. I've got it next to my Tilaka Mrdanga. This is a 2001 model, made by Ratnabhushan in the BBT in LA. Picked it up from him myself, saw how he makes all the stuff over there, so I've got a bit of an idea of how things work. The other one I've got to compare it with is this. This is a 2002 Sita pati Signature Series wooden Mrdanga from Peru, which I helped to refine the design of. I was one of the feedback customers. So here we go. I've taken it apart, we've had a bit of a look at it, so let's compare them. The rubber bumpers this is the one from the Philippine Mrdanga, this is my LA one, exactly the same. It's just a complete carbon copy basically. I took the rim off and compared it to my LA one. Again, it's exactly, the points are exactly the same. One of the differences is that on the Philippine Mrdanga it has metric head screws, whereas the American one has imperial ones. And there's a great innovation on this Philippine Mrdanga, was something that I've always wanted to actually do myself, and here he's come up with a way to do it, is putting the tuning key onto the strap, which is awesome. Because how many times do you rock into a temple, play a Mrdanga, it's completely out of tune, and you don't have your tuning key with you? Here you go. On Harinam, it can sometimes go out of tune. In Kirtans, you play it really hard, sometimes one of the things comes loose. And then the other thing is when you're playing in Kirtans with a harmonium and it's being played in different keys, you need to tune the Mrdanga to the different keys, so you tune the top and bottom end to match the key. I can hear a Mrdanga coming from outside actually. So that's great. One small point about this here is that this rim here, it looks like it needs to be countersunk a little bit more. If you look at the LA Mrdanga, the tops of these things completely flush with the with the rim, whereas on this one here they sit a little bit higher than the rim. So all it needs is to be just countersunk a little bit deeper, because this rim is actually thicker than the LA rim. It sounds like Brajadan. So I took the head off and I'm putting it back on, and I'm just going to tension it back up. Okay, we'll take it back down again. It's a good idea, if you're ever shipping your Mrdanga, you should take the tension right off the heads so that they're kind of flabby. We've had a bit of experience. We lost one Mrdanga, the heads anyway, because we left it in a car and it heated up and the air inside expanded and it just killed the head. Okay, so that's loose. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around. I'll just take one right off so you can see it. Here's the countersunk here. So that needs to be countersunk just a little bit more so that screw can sit flush with the head. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten them to just a basic tension, and I'm just going to go around and tighten each one up to bring the head back up. It's completely flat. So I just do it by feel here about how much resistance I get in the screw, how much torque. Just a little bit at a time. I mean, there are two schools of thought. The old school of thought was that you went this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, like that. So across, like you're drawing a pentagram. Another school is that you just go around it. The heads of the Mrdanga are actually made in the Philippines as well. Pretty much everything on this Mrdanga you can get standard. These are all standard pieces. This is pretty standard. The body itself, I know in LA they have them made in a boat shop, boat builders. So the devotees don't actually make the bodies. They're made in two halves and then they're joined together. And this thing here, the way they do it in LA is that they put it in hot water, soak it so that it expands, then they lay it around here and glue it, and then as it contracts, it shrinks into that gap. So if you take this apart, you'll see that that's the two halves of the Mrdanga, that it's molded in two pieces. Okay, so I'm going to bring this tension up. Okay, I noticed when I had the head off that it has less of the gob on it than the American Balaram Mrdanga heads do. You can see the difference there. Can you see that? Yeah. This one's got more gob, it's wider, it takes up more of the head, it's also thicker, so it's a bit heavier. And I think that makes a lot of difference to the resonant sound. This is the Philippine head, here's the American head. Hear that resonance there? Now that resonance is a function of the gob, because on my Sita pati signature series wooden Mrdanga here, this one here is a Peruvian head, and this one, the gob has come off, it was glued on, it's come off, this is what it sounds like. It has zero resonance. It's probably pretty flat as well. This one's tuned a lot higher than that. Okay, what do I do with that screw? It is? Okay, so we'll take this down a little bit. We'll see if we can get it at the same pitch as the American head. Same pitch. Well, that was slightly higher. Anyway, close enough for rock and roll that you can hear the difference. Now, I don't think this is caused by the body. On this one here, one of the developments, one of the design modifications we made was to make this rim thinner, because it used to be so thick that it made a very dead sound. So by making that rim that the head sits on thinner, we got more resonance out of it. But this one looks like it's got about the same contact area as the American one, so I think it is actually the physical mechanics of the head. I've got a spare American head here. I'm going to take this head off. I'm going to put the American one on and see what it sounds like. Okay, we put a new head, one of the American heads on. It sounds a bit better, but still not as good as this one. One thing is that this, and this is the thing about artisanal type stuff like this, the heads especially, the heads are hand fabricated, because while this is all factory standard kind of stuff, a plastic head like this, at this size, it's a non-standard size, with that gob on it is not standard, so the devotees have to whack these together. This one here is a matte plastic, this one here is a glossy plastic, so although these two heads are both from the States, they're actually different batches.
Which is the newer?
This one's the newer of the two.
Oh, that's brand new.
But I mean, the thing is, if you get a good, it's probably best when you buy these small heads to buy 2 or 3 at a time, because if you get a good batch, they really rock. One time we bought some, and we found out later when we went to the States and picked up our Mrdangas that whole batch they all pulled out within a few weeks. They were no good. Sounds a bit better. Bottom end sounds okay. Yeah, anyway, we'll play it out, we'll play it through tonight, and then we'll see how it sounds by the end of the night.